I cook. I've done so pretty much every day of my life since I was a teenager. Nothing flash or show-stopping, just straightforward, everyday stuff. The Kitchen Diaries 2 by Nigel Slater is a time machine to things cooked long ago. I'm something of a love him or hate him fan of Slater. On the one hand, I admire the man's simple and inventive take on pretty simple food. However, I abhor the all-too-regular impracticality when it comes to some of his recipes, not to mention the occasion for grand snobbery. There was one point during a TV series he was making in the 90s where he demonised blocks of cheddar in favour of a diet solely comprising of soft cheeses. And this coming from a man promising to be unpretentious. It's okay. I still love you. That said, this latest Christmas must-have has an incredible transportative quality to get you thinking in brand new ways about food. I love this book. It takes the age-old recipe book and flips it entirely. This is partly a recipe book, partly prose, partly journal, partly pornography. The book is admiringly peppered with photographs like this one that make me go just a little bit weak at the knees. And it all comes together to make this more than a book. It's a work of art. Just look at that cover. The diaries in this edition are in chronological order, but they aren't taken from any one year. Instead, they're taken from hand-scribbled notes and iPad-scribed documents from Slater's cooking experiences from maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So with each entry, you've no idea exactly how old it is. It adds a nice romanticism to what is already a pretty voyeuristic book. Obviously, I've not read the whole thing. I've just not had time. Okay, that's a lie. The book has an excellent prose quality to it as well. Even the most unassuming of ingredients such as quinces and marzipan are given a life all of their own thanks to Slater's beautiful writing. Although marzipan originated in Persia, where it is often flavoured with orange flower water, almost every almond producing country has its own version. The almond paste is linked to any manner of ceremonies, from the wedding feasts of the Aegon to the All Souls Day, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, in Palermo. But mostly marzipan, French, mazpon, India, or mazapan, Philippines, is just as much a part of our Christmas as mince pies. Admit it, you're now all craving marzipan. And speaking of mince pies, my favourite recipe in the book so far is an interesting take on the Christmas staple, mincemeat cheesecake. I've not actually made it yet. I have just been ogling the photo. I might make it for Easter, just to be flamboyant. It's not just the food that gets praised though, but also the utensils that help to make it. In one case there is an ode to his aged favourite wok, and in another it's a love letter to his hard-working blender. Not only that, but the pretentious Nigel that I first encountered back when I was a kid has been replaced by a much more modest man. Included in this recipe book are recipes for homemade beans on toast, sausage rolls, and even some musings on the rare occasions a restaurant can get bread and butter right. Given time, he might even be able to give shrink-wrapped cheddar another go. So my question in your comments this week is this. Do you keep journals of the things you cook? Do you make annotations on recipes so that you remember next time what works and what doesn't? Or do you even write your own recipes? Let me know down below. Thumb the video if you liked it, and if I made you feel hungry, then please subscribe. I'll also leave Nigel Slater's Twitter in the underbar. He's well worth following. See you next Thursday. Tough watching. There was one point this must-have has amazing transportative quality to make you think of That said, this latest Christmas must-have My favourite book in the recipe. The book is admiringly